Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to Train Sim World, and welcome back to the Great Western Express DLC. We've got one more scenario to go. We've got all of these done. We just have Dragline. It's 75 minutes. You know, I typically go 40 to 60 minutes for an episode. 75 isn't that much longer than 60. It's really not. So I say we go for it, and let's see how it turns out. And I'm waiting because I always step on. I always step on the voiceover, so I'm like super self-conscious about it. Here we go. Dragline.
One of the high-speed trains coming out of London has developed a fault and terminated here at Reading. The train needs to be towed back to the Old Oak Common for repairs.
All right.
We've caught you off your brakes from the driver of this rescue move. A Class 66 is being brought out of Reading Depot, just to the west. Meets the locomotive when it arrives in the station.
All right. Head over to platform 14. Are we actually on a platform right now? 7, 8. All right. So it looks like we go up here. Massive update for Train Sim World. Oh, okay. I've got my markers turned off, but they're still there. I just can't see them. Okay. So I need to just go based on the decreasing yardage and try to get where we need to get to. Okay. So then I'm guessing we go down here. 57. So then we go down here. There we go. Right. So yeah, I fired up Steam today and immediately it said downloading content. And when it does that, or at least when it does that for me, I'm never sure if it's downloading an update or if it's downloading, there's no mods, not mods, but workshop items. There's no workshop items for Train Sim World, at least that I know of. So if it says it's downloading, it has to be an update. So while it was downloading, and it took a minute, it was over 2 gig. Meet the locomotive. Okay. So while it was downloading, I went to steampower.com and prowled around a little bit, and I found the Train Sim World Spring Update available now. And I'll just read it to you quickly, just kind of an overview. General, made the overall driving experience smoother, fixed an issue which would cause springy hoses when transitioning between tiles. General improvements to localization, text, and language. GDPR compliance updates. Numerous improvements to reduce stuttering and pausing. Improvements to physics on multi-core CPUs for performance improvements. Then specifically CSX Heavy Haul. Fixed an issue with the GP38-2. Great Western Express. Fixed an issue in service mode. Spawned at the wrong end of the Class 166. Fixed an issue Class 66. Graphical issues at Twyford Station. Improved general performance of the route. On the Rapid Transit DLC, improvements to passenger navigation, fixed an issue with underpass at Dessau, optimization, etc. Improved general performance of the route. I'm trying to read quickly. Northeast Corridor, New York. There's too many of them to read, but you get the idea. And then down below that, I saw this was released on May 1st, and I didn't catch it yet. West Somerset Railway coming soon. So that is going to be apparently the next DLC. I'm very excited about that, and it looks like my kind of DLC. It's kind of, or at least the one they're showing is a little funky, kind of like a shunting engine. It's if you go to steampower.com and dig around for TSW, I guess you'll see it's or just Google West Somerset Railway DLC. You'll see it, and the picture that they have up is a funky little.
Thanks for helping us on this job.
Right.
You need to get that locomotive over to the failed HST and hook it up. you'll get a pass back into Reading Station.
All right. Turn the master key on and set the reverser key to, once more, turn the master key on and set the reverser to forward. So, lights, turn the headlights to daytime and set the taillights to on. Why am I feeling like it's giving me a... No, don't need the hot plate. Cab lights, there we go. Turn the headlights to daytime and set the taillights to on. Demister brake test, taillights, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Hold the brakes in release to discharge them. Done, right? Increase throttle to get going. Signal looks good. Where's my total? So we're going 1.2 miles. Right. So yeah, just Google West Somerset Railway DLC and it should hopefully give it to you. But looks like that's what's coming next. I'm super excited about that. Don't know when. I don't see a date for that. So I have no idea when it's going to be available. But that's everything that's going on. And I also, now you may realize that we were doing CSX Heavy Haul. We were doing the ice and snow scenario. We had episode 1 of 4, episode 2 of 4. Well, I started episode 3 of 4, recording it, and nothing happened. We just drove into Rockwood in the fog. There was no ice and snow. We never needed the sander. There was no slipping. There was no wheel slip. There was no drama. We just got to Rockwood and stopped the locomotive. I was really kind of underwhelmed. I also don't understand how we did a 180-minute scenario in 135 minutes. But basically, I torpedoed the final episode, or the final 2 episodes, because it was 180 minutes, and I assumed we would do 4 45-minute episodes. And I knew they'd be boring. I knew they'd be like just nothing, just looking out the window of a train at the fog. And I knew there'd be 4 of them, and it turned out there weren't even 4 of them. There were 3 of them because it finished much sooner than it should have. And there was no reason to post it. It was nothing. Nothing interesting happened, nothing challenging happened. We just got to Rockwood, turned off the locomotive, and got out. So that's why we're not doing episode 3 and episode 4 of the ice and snow scenario, and instead we're jumping in here. But with the update, I kind of like it. I think it's cool that we'll be doing something a little different. And I don't know how I felt about 4 episodes in a row of CSX, but I got the long game, but I also have no plan. I just do whatever. I'm very much at peace with the fact that life is kind of unpredictable and you never know what's going to happen, and that's totally cool with me. Right. I drove this little Class 66 freight engine. I drove this I just jumped in one night. I couldn't sleep, and I jumped on a service, they call it. And it's more or less you just jumping in at one station, driving to the next one or to the next significant stop, and hopping out. And that's my only experience with this, but I do remember more or less how to control it, I hope. So, right, we'll get up here and get backed up. Now, hooking up in Great Western Express, took me a few tries to figure this out. Hooking up in the Great Western Express is different than hooking up American trains. American trains, you just kind of bang them into each other at less than 5 miles per hour. Not so with UK trains. UK trains, you got to pull up and kind of press against them gently, and then hop out and manually couple. So yeah, it took me Well, I was banging into trains and nothing was hooking up, and I was like, oh well, maybe I need to bang into them a little harder. So I would literally like back the train up and hit it a little harder. What about 7 miles an hour? What about 10 miles an hour? Oh yeah, maybe 20 miles an hour, and I just kept bouncing off them until finally I realized that you had to just kind of pull up and smoosh gently, smoosh against them, and then get out and manually operate the coupler. Right. Where to now? Put the reverser into neutral, so we shall, and set the master key to off. Turn the headlights and taillights off. Taillights off. Off. Sit in the driver's seat of the rear cab. Right. If you follow basketball, the Cavaliers just won, and I will, when we get rolling again, if I have a moment, climb up the ladder. Yes, that is what I would like to do. If I have a moment, I will check the score of my beloved Penguins and see how they're doing. They are not doing well. Right. Turn the master key on and set the reverser to forward. Right. Turn the headlights to daytime. Turn the taillights on. Daytime. On. You got it. Hold the brakes to release and discharge them. Indeed we will. It does seem smoother. It does seem... I'm at between 30 and 40 FPS. Signal permitting, increase the throttle to get going. I would love to. Stop at location, signal T1685. All right. And in fact, while that's going on, I will check the score. Carefully. Carefully. All right. So the Capitals at the Penguins. 5:35 to go in the second, and the game is tied 1-1. Oh. I know a three-peat is sort of out of the question. I mean, it's 2018 right now, and there hasn't been a three-peat in what, 30 years, 35 years? I understand a three-peat is kind of out of the question, which means that at some point the Penguins will get knocked out in the playoffs. And they made it past the first round, which is always, you don't want to get knocked out in the first round. And they made it out of the first round. So, realistically, nothing to complain about. Nothing to be ashamed of. At the same time, you don't, or I don't want them to be knocked out. I know it's going to happen. Statistically, it's inevitable. Three-peat is like, it's next level. So I understand they're going to be knocked out. And I understand there's no good time for it to happen. But I'm still, kind of dreading it. But back-to-back is Nothing to be ashamed of. Crosby, I'm sure, is going to the Hall of Fame. You know, he's got 3 now. 4 would be great. Who's to say he won't get another one at some point? I don't know if he is going to continue playing for the Penguins. I feel like he is not. And that's, you know, it's like thinking about Lemieux playing for somebody other than the Penguins, or Gretzky playing for somebody other than the Oilers, or Messier playing for somebody other than the Rangers. You know, you never think it could happen. And then you think, well, what about Joe Montana? He's never going to play for anybody but the 49ers, and then, you know, he did. Roethlisberger, the Steelers, I have a feeling he's going to move on. So it happens. So Crosby will, I'm sure, I'm almost positive he'll get a 4th ring somewhere, and he's going to the Hall of Fame. No worries there. But it's still, you know, 2 in a row is nice. 3 in a row would be better. Come on, stop. Stop. All right, gave it to me. Now where are we going? Contact signaler. Press the tab key to bring up the dispatch menu. Indeed we will. Request to pass the signal. Oh. Stop at location in front of the failed train. The reason, clearly, there's a red light is because there's a train on the track. Of course we need the signal. Oh. Oh, game. You're so authentic and accurate and wonderful. Love it. I've fully come around. Initially, I played CSX Heavy Haul a few times, and I thought, you know, that's all right. But I've definitely come around to this game, and I guess I love it. I guess I can say I love it. I'm comfortable saying that. We're also drinking the rest of that very questionable Cabernet Sauvignon tonight. And it's all right. It feels like a Friday. It's a Thursday, but it feels like a Friday. So I figure if it feels like a Friday, I'm going to go ahead and treat it like a Friday. And I'm just assuming that it is, all the switches are adjusted and we're headed where we need to be headed. We'll break. I'm trying to be more, you know, not reckless. What's the word I'm looking for? I feel like I'm a little too, like a little too cautious with the brake. I need to be a little more cowboy. So I'm trying to do that. Not that cowboy. Right. Easy. Easy. This guy. What's he looking at? Right. Okay. Now what happens? Rescue locomotive coupler. Climb out and activate the Buckeye coupler on the front of the locomotive. There's the door. Right. Is there a door on this side? There is. Sir? Oh, he's up to no good. Where's the Buckeye coupler? Coupler type hook. Buckeye. Oh, fascinating. Fantastic. Now, do I have to activate my Buckeye hook as well? So I do. And I guess I did the other one. Okay. Return to the rescue locomotive. Well, I can't do it that way. Climb up the ladder. Good day, sir. Come in here. Close that. Climb aboard. Return to the rescue locomotive. Okay. Gently move forward. Always. Gently. Fantastic. Right. Put the reverser into neutral. You got it. And set the master key to off. Turn the headlights and taillights off. 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 Prepare the train. Head to the other end of the train and sit in the driver's seat. Ah, that means I got to deal with this guy again. No, he left. Good. Cat was up to no good, I could tell. Right. What? Very, very, very shady. I'm very skeptical about all that. Climb up the ladder. Right. Come in here. No. Close that. Open that. Close that. Did we not do that? Oh, 200. Okay. 225 yards. Right. You don't say a word. I was just going up in there to check some paperwork. I did not go to the wrong end of the train. I didn't. Ugh. He's eyeballing me. Right. So, now how is this going to work? When I operate the controls in the... What is this? The 143 high speed, the HST? What is this? When I operate the controls here, is it going to operate the controls in the 66? You see what I'm getting at. Like, how are we going to drive it from down here? Or do we just need to do some finagling and adjusting, and then we head back to the 66? A lot of walking is what I'm saying. Right, this is a 75-minute scenario. I ain't scared. Ah, you got your bookstore there. Get yourself a little something to read on the train, you know, in case you want to do a little reading. Right. So we do that. Then we do that. Turn the lights to tail lights and press the parking brake off button. So there's tail lights. Parking brake off. Okay. Oh, I knew it. Somehow I knew it. I got to keep walking past this guy. I wouldn't say I'm embarrassed, but like I feel like he knows I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like he's on to me. While that's going on, I'm going to check the score. Right. So with 2:29 to go in the second, Pittsburgh is up 2-1. And I'm also going to, I'm also going to text a little bit. Right. Whoop. Let's go back here. You know what? I'm just going to go behind this guy. Like, he doesn't even need to know I'm here. Whoop. Right. Back up in here. Felt like that was a bit of a setup. Right. Set the master key on.
Connected up and ready to go. Once signals give you clearance, you're good to head over to Old Oak Common.
Right. Reverse it to forward. Right. Turn the headlights to daytime. Daytime. Hold the brakes in. All right. So I'm going to release the brakes anyway. Well, they weren't released, so turns out I need to do this. Right. Throttle. Signal permitting, increase the throttle to get going. Looks like we do have a green light. So, Old Oak Common. Oi! 32 miles! And we need to be there by 10:15. Alright. Where's my wine? There it is. Right. Okay. I'm going to let that continue. See how that's doing. Okay, that's good. Right. Now, here's a question. How fast can we go towing a train? I mean, at a certain point, it's like we're not towing a train. We're just a train. Right? You see what I'm saying? So can we go 95? Or is that, can we go 125? Is that frowned on? Is that not a thing? But we do have a deadline. Not a deadline. What do you call it? A timetable. We can't just, we're supposed to be there at 10:15. So should we get a move on is what I'm saying. But, oh, you know what? It's going to do that thing it does where it... So the speed limit is all over the place. You see it? It's going from like 40 to 125 to 30 to 90. It's gonna mess with me the whole way there. Not like on purpose. Not like it's going to mess with me. So now it's 125, but it's going to 40. Right. 90, okay. And I'm not, I mean, I understand that the game is very authentic. The game is very accurate. So I have no doubt that, you know, it's, the speed limit thing is the way it is. I just want to learn to read all those signs, man. I see those little signs going by, and I know they all mean something, and I want to learn what they all mean so I can eventually graduate. Oh, right? That's my goal right there. Not there yet. Not there yet. Right. 90 it is. Here we go. The game does seem smoother, I have to say. This is the first time that I've played it since I went all SSD. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Let's take a look outside. First time I played it since I went all SSD. I have to say it does seem smoother. So that could be a combination of things. Could be what I did. It could be what they did. but I think it looks great. And I know TSW. Well, the first installment of TSW, CSX Heavy Haul. I know it was an absolute FPS killer when it was first released, and so many people uh, had a problem with that. That the first update, first patch, whatever, they really dialed things back and let people, get some FPS back. So it could be they did that again. Visually, I don't see any difference. I think it still looks amazing. I'm not running Reshade or anything. It's available for this. Reshade SweetFX is available for TSW, but I don't think, for me, it doesn't need it. I think it looks fantastic, so I'm not going to mess with it. But yeah, we're between 30 and 40 FPS. I wish it was better, but you know what? If we were at 50, I would want to be at 70. And if we were at 70, I would want to be at 100. And if we were at 100, then I would max out my graphics settings, and you know how that goes. But I think it looks amazing. Totally pleased with it, and pleased with the FPS too. I don't have a problem with it. Right. Yeah, we'll let it run here for a while. I'm going to tug on this vape. And let's see what happens. Alright, that was just quick. I know in the CSX Heavy Haul scenarios, when you pass a long freight train, it does tend to tank FPS for a minute. Go under this bridge. Oh, that's a nice view. Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm going to leave it there for a minute. Yeah. Oh, that is nice. That's real nice. Now, if you've noticed in my page, like my home page, boy, maybe not. Let's go over here a little bit. If you've noticed on my page on YouTube, I'm not using thumbnails, and my descriptions of the video are just what's in the video. No exclamation points, no big promises, no like you've never seen anything like this before. Not doing any of that clickbait stuff. Just describing what's in there. And to sort of stay consistent with that, I'm not using any thumbnails. All of my thumbnails are a frame of what is in the actual video, and that is intentional. I don't want to chase subs, and I don't want to chase clicks. I don't want to chase views. So what? Oh, beautiful. Oh man, that's real nice. Real nice. So, oh really? Oh, Dovetail, you're killing me today. So something like this, I think, or I don't know. Maybe I'll go back on the replay and see if I can capture that for a thumbnail. But that's the sort of thing that I want for a thumbnail. Something that's in the actual gameplay that you're going to be able to see when you watch the video. So that's the reason I'm not doing any of that green screen stuff, or you know what I'm talking about. So when I see a view like this, right, like that, I don't know, maybe not those wheels, maybe not so crazy about that, but other than that, you get what I'm saying. Right. Well, I mean, we're making good time, I think, and we've got 45 minutes to go 26 miles, and we're over 60 miles an hour, which is a good thumbnail. Time-wise, 1 mile per minute. We've got 26 miles, which would be less than 26 minutes. So something's got to happen as far as signals or red lights, or something's going on. But that's cool. We're committed to finishing. And I really like the amount of activity in the Great Western. I think of all the DLC, I think the Great Western has the most uh, stuff going on. I don't know, man. These bridges, I'm doing my best to try to keep them from kind of freaking out. But I think of all the scenarios, not the scenarios, all the DLC. I think of all the DLC, the Great Western DLC is the one that has the most movement and the most life in the map. I really, really like that. Definitely. I think CSX has maybe the least. CSX or Rapid Transit, and I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying it like factually. I feel like that's where you see the least going on. I've seen in Northeast Corridor, I've seen some stuff going on, but Great Western definitely, there's just trains everywhere, which I think is very cool. And I don't know, if there's an absence of trains, I don't know if that's by design, if it represents the actual service on those routes. Hard to say. I'm digging these little 66 commuter trains flying by. Right. It's not the worst wine I've ever had. It's not the best. It'll do. So I am also trying to figure out, I'm trying to time it, and I think I've decided on something to do for our 100th episode. And I realize at this point I have no subs and no views, and I don't really care. I'm enjoying doing this. I'm having a great time. I want the quality to be there, and I wouldn't say that I'm doing this for myself, but I kind of am. So it's not, how do I want to say this? It's like I don't have an excuse to not do something for my 100th episode just because nobody's going to see it. It's still my 100th episode. So I'm going to do something. And what I've decided to do is my very first episode, ever. We went from where? Like Trinity to Wick, I think. My very first YouTube episode ever was European Truck Simulator. And I want to say we went from Trinity to Cardiff or Trinity to Wick, somewhere. So we're going to recreate that trip. I'm going to go back to Trinity. In fact, you know what? I got to... Oh, shit. We're speeding. I don't know how long we have been. Hopefully not long. Hopefully not long. We didn't lose too many points. Right. Well, that's why you don't drink wine while you're operating a train. I mean, you can, but then things like that happen. Right. So, I need to check the score as well. Score of the game. Right. There's that. Second intermission. Penguins up on the Caps 2-1 in Pittsburgh. So if I go YouTube, now we can pick up the pace again. I'm multitasking. I am. Videos. Scroll all the way down. All the way down. All the way down. Man, 100 videos is... That's a few. Episode 1. Loading. Still loading. Come on now. Trinity to Cardiff. So yes, that's what we did. So that's what we're going to do again. We're going to go back to Trinity and head out. We're going to head out. I don't know. I mean, I feel like we drove that Scania 164. I feel like we drove it all over the place, and then we reconfigured it. We started 4x2, and then we went 8x4, and then we went 6x4, and then we went 6x2 with a lift axle, and then we put the reefer box on it, and we got some good episodes out of the 164. But enough is enough. We're in the DAF now, and I think we're going to hop in that little Mercedes Antos. Antos. So maybe we'll jump in the Mercedes for the trip from Trinity to Cardiff and recreate episode number 1. I'm excited. I really am. And I'm more than anything else, I'm excited to compare the two side by side and just see how different we are. 100 episodes and maybe 2 months, maybe 10 weeks into this. How different are we 10 weeks in than we were? Hey. Oi. Took a sign to the face. How different are we 10 weeks in compared to our first episode? And I think the biggest thing for me, this whole process, has been realizing how hard it is to do this well. And at this point, I can't even say that I'm doing it well. I feel like sometimes the quality, like the actual visual quality of my videos, is not terrible, right? And we're at go there. We're at 1080p 60 right now. So 60 FPS is not a problem. 1080p is not a problem. I've experimented with different editing apps. I went from nothing to Shotcut to DaVinci Resolve. I'm pleased with that. And the voiceover, man, I don't know. That's a little different because that's me. Like, how do you not be you? And the thing that I've seen so many times, from other YouTubers, and the consistent advice that you hear is, just be yourself. Don't be anybody but yourself. So, as far as what I say or how I say it, I think that's going to stay fairly consistent because that's me. That's who I am. So that leaves the actual audio quality. I know I need to bump my microphone up, and if you've been watching some of the other episodes, Truck Sim, either American or Euro, and Farm Sim and some of the other things, you've heard me sort of like thinking out loud about what I want to do with microphone, and I don't want, at this point, I really don't have any room on my desk. So if I did go microphone, I would need to go with a stand and then like boom it out, jib it out over my face, right? And I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not like automatically opposed to it, but it's a lot of equipment and microphone stands. Anything involving live music, which that's what a microphone stand is for. That stuff is all so heavy because it needs to be like super durable for me and out on the road, rock and or roll, you know what I'm saying? So it's heavy as shit. It's ridiculous. And I think, the stand itself plus the jib and the microphone and the pop screen and everything else, and I'm the portable gamer. I'm trying to keep it portable. So I'm really on the fence about whether or not I want to get. I would love to get just a Blue or a Yeti or something and just put it on the desk, but they don't look big until you see them up close, and then it's like, damn, this thing's as big as a loaf of bread. It's crazy. And it would just eat up my desk. I literally wouldn't even know where to put it, because as I'm thinking about it right now, the only available space on my desk, if I put it there, it would be directly in my sight line between me and my monitor. So at this point, I'm not opposed to it, but it's sort of a non-starter. So I've experimented with some different ways to get better sound, or better audio quality, I guess, better audio quality out of the boom mic on my headset. And, you know, I've tried some different things. I've tried some virtual mixers and virtual soundboards. I'm not really impressed with anything yet. So I think we may just stay status quo. And if that's the case, then the video quality, I have to say, is about as good as I can make it with the equipment that I have available. The audio quality is about as good as I can make it with the equipment that I have available. And me is just me. I mean, I'm the only me that I have available. So there's nothing I can really do about that. I got to start watching signals here because I feel like, 13 miles, 30 minutes. We're going to have to get into some shenanigans at some point, because if not, we're just going to be so crazy early. So, yeah, man, you get what I'm saying. I feel like I don't want to pat myself on the back like, oh, you've arrived, but from a certain angle, I look at this like, yes, this is what, it took me 100 episodes, which is approximately 100 hours of recorded time, which is approximately 300 to 400 hours of, oh shit, hang on. This is so bad. This is so bad. As soon as I saw it, I hit the brakes, but I think, no, don't. Oh, whew, turned yellow. Golly. As soon as I saw it, I started hitting the brakes, and okay, but then it's in 0.8 miles now. Okay, so I guess we got some traffic up ahead of us. God, that was... Because if you run a red light, scenario's over. You done, son. Start over. Okay. I need to, not pay more attention, but I need to... it's like I got to keep my hands on the controls. Got to be more ready. But you get what I'm saying. I don't want to start patting myself on the back like it's as good as it can get. But I do want to recognize that in 100 hours of video, approximately, which equates to 300 to 400 hours of time that I put into this, that it may be that I can take a look at where things are right now and say, yeah, man, that was my goal. I've always wanted to make simulation gaming videos in 1080p. Ideally in 4K, but I can't capture 4K right now. But to be 1080p, 60 FPS, off of my game settings, my game settings in Train Sim World right now, everything is high, not ultra, which is how most of my games are set up, honestly. That we're getting a good render of the game and a decent frame rate, and then we're getting a good capture of the game, and all that is good. And then the audio, and then my voiceover, working on that. That's always going to be a work in progress, but I think that's the point of the 100th episode, is yeah, this was my goal, this is what I wanted to do, and I think maybe I kind of did it. So something to celebrate. And honestly, I don't care if anybody sees it. I'm making it for me, and I'm making it for my people on this end that are going to see it. If other people want to check it out, I would love that. I really would. But I'm not tripping out about how many subs I have or how many likes I have. But are you seeing the low distance for this fence? It's I'm a white fence. Oh no, no. Oh, it's terrible. Oh God. All right. I feel like that's almost Because if you look at where the tracks are loading to, the distance for the tracks, it's about the same. All right, hey man, you can't have everything. Where would you put it? Right. 10 miles, 25 minutes. Now, this is something else that I realized. Like, didn't we get someplace too early? Didn't we? I feel like we got someplace too early, and it didn't penalize us, but it gave us the red X, which I guess that is penalizing. But what do you do about that? Like, do you go slow? I don't know. I don't know about that. Going slow when you can go fast doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Where are we going? Going right there. Okay. Well, we're just gonna keep on doing our thing. I'm curious how many points we lose for getting in. Oh, that'd be another nice. Let's go back outside. Lovely. I'm curious how many points we're going, because if we're going 60. Oh shit. I feel like this is just going to keep happening. No. Whew. Oh god. Game, why you gotta mess with me like that? Ah. Jeezy Pete's, where's the wine? Come here. Come here, you. Oh. What was that like? I'll check on the replay. It was like 5 yards. It was like 10 yards. It was a ridiculously small amount of space between us going, what, like 40, 50 miles per hour in a red signal. I'm a hot mess right now. I can't believe this game like gets me as not stressed out, but like you make an investment, you know, you make an investment of time, and you want, you know, the thing to be the thing, and the closer you get to the end of it, it's like, oh, don't screw up now, because if it screws up now, if I screw up now, then I've spent all this time getting here, and then I got to do it again at some point. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that at all. Right. So, right now I am texting and drinking and driving a train. And they really frown on, well, most of those things while you're driving a train. But what can you do? Right. So we got green signals for once. 7 miles. I don't know, man. I feel like we're going to be there so early. But if we were to go slow, how slow would we go? Like, what would be just generically go slow? That doesn't... You see what I mean? Like, the speed limit's 90. Should we go 70? Well, we're going 60 now. Should we go 40? I don't know. I'm at a loss. Unless there's a whole bunch of yard activity all the way in. Well, either way, we'll be done with this scenario, so we can close out. At least for scenarios, we can close out Great Western. And I think we've got a couple left on Rapid Transit and a couple left on Northeast Corridor, but they're all long. And then we finally did the 180-minute one on CSX. And I was pretty disappointed. I got to be real with you. There was nothing challenging about it. We did some shunting in our departure yard. We got hooked up, and then we just drove over the hill. There was really nothing challenging about it at all. So that was, I mean, I didn't even bother posting the final episode because it was just, there was nothing to it. It was just, this is pretty boring, but at least, you know, we're gonna have a conclusion to it. That other one was like, nothing. So that closes out CSX as well. And that just leaves, like I said, a couple on Rapid Transit and a couple on Northeast Corridor. But we'll get all of them done. And then at that point, I don't know. I mean, should we do services? I tried one service on Great Western. Not good. Not good. Not good. I tried one service on Great Western, and, well, I chose poorly, and it was at night, which is never good. Right. Managed to stop for that one. All right. Maybe we're getting a little action here as we get closer. So I know in the future, if we're going to do a service, do it in the daytime. All right, here we go. Got the yellow signal. If you're going to do a service, or if I'm going to do a service, do it in the daytime. But I think that'll be about all we have left. It's just services. Well, there's no maybe about it. If we do all the scenarios, yeah, that's all we'll have left will be. Huh. That was kooky. We just took a beating on FPS. Maybe moving to a new tile. I don't know. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. So should we stop? I mean, should I stop doing episodes of Train Sim World? Or should I do services? Or I could do the scenarios again, but I mean, we did them. We did them already. So you get what I'm saying. 3 miles. So we'll see. I mean, there's no, well, I take that back. We've got a few scenarios left to go, and then that Somerset DLC will be out. So if the timing is right, by the time that DLC gets out, maybe we'll be just about ready to do a little thing. And then knowing Dovetail and how many DLC they released for Train Simulator, if they maintain that same pace, there should be a DLC like every month or so for the next 1,000 years. So we'll see. TBD, work in progress. Right. 15 minutes, 3 miles. Yeah, we're definitely gonna be early. Let's see how early we can be. And I mean that, like, I'm not being sarcastic. Like, who knows what's going to happen in the next 2.8 miles. right. You know, I don't think a whole lot's going to happen in the next 2.8 miles. Maybe. Maybe. Not counting on it. I think we're just going to pull in, stop, and that'll be the end of it. We may need to unhook and park the 66, but I don't know. Not counting on it. Beautiful. I love it. And we'll be a little bit early, not crazy early. Oh shit! Hang on. Let's back that down to 0. Okay. Maybe we'll do, depending on how the scenarios are, maybe we'll do, or like how many scenarios are left, maybe we'll do a service in that 66 commuter. Right. Also, 9:47 to go in the third. Penguins are leading the Capitals 2-1 in Pittsburgh. If you're into that sort of thing. Oh yeah, 10:02. Got another couple minutes, so we'll get in. I don't know what, like 10:10. It's a few minutes early. Yeah, but I mean, how would you know, right? Because if we're not supposed to be early, then what? We're supposed to go slower en route. But how slow would we know to go? Because it was what, 23 miles? So if it's 23 miles, when we're 20 miles away, how would we know go slower so you don't get there fast? You get what I'm saying. Right. Missed the brakes. Slow down a little early. I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. And we have a red signal. But the red signal is after. We're supposed to stop in 0.7. The red signal is in 0.8. So I suppose that's not a catastrophist. Alright, well, see what happens when we get in here. Now, something else that I'm curious about is this right here. Are these signals? Or is this something to do with the train? feel like those are signals. Man, I gotta figure out how to read all this stuff. What is all this? Right, so speed is good. And we're more or less pulling up to this red signal. Right. Is that my marker right there? I think it is. You know, I wouldn't say like I want to get rid of that, but I'm looking to get as many things as possible out of the world and onto the HUD. So I kind of want to, like these marks that are on the tracks right here, I kind of want to get rid of those. I'll play with that a little bit off camera. I thought I had got rid of it. I keep turning things off, but looks like we still have a few more to get rid of. Not a big deal. Not the end of the world, but I want that immersion, yo. I want that realism. Right. Right. Wait until 10:15. Oh. Oh. Well, looks like me and you and the Penguins game and this glass of wine are going to be hanging out for the next 8 minutes. This is a little rough, I have to say. You know I love you, but this is a little rough. This is waiting at the gate to board, right? And so you got there like 40 minutes ahead of time, half an hour ahead of time, like a good passenger. You're all checked in. The plane lands. You can see it pull up to the jetway. All the people come out. Then you see the cleaning crew go on, right? And I don't know how it is where you are, but in the U.S. they flip jets, especially like 37s and 67s. They flip them fast, baby. They like super fast. You see the food truck pull up, and they're putting the food on board and baggage and the whole deal. Like they really flip them fast. And then the cleaning crew comes off, and you're like, okay, because you've done this enough times. Like in a few minutes they're going to tell you first class service persons and anybody who needs boarding assistance, please come to like whatever aisle 1 and we'll get you going. So that's what's about to happen. And then like it doesn't happen, or you'll see that like the luggage crew, like they can't get the door open or something. Like something happens, and you're like, oh, we're going to be boarding in a few minutes, and then like they back the plane away from the jetway, and you're like, oh, MF, where's the plane going? That is the plane that I wanted to get. What? Oh. And then there's a pause, and then and you can see her because she's like 20 feet away at the little console, and she gets on the thing and says passengers at gate 16, waiting for flight so-and-so. There has been a delay. We will keep you advised, but in the meantime, please stay close to the gate. And you sit there for like the next hour, and all kinds of things happen, and like they'll pull another plane up to the jetway, but then nothing happens, and then that one backs away, and you're like, oh, MF. And then they tell you, all passengers ticketed on flight so-and-so, go to gate, you're at gate 16, and they're like, go to gate 53. Your new gate is gate 53, but your boarding pass will be honored. Right? And that's kind of how this feels, right? Because we got here, and now they're like, oh, there's been a change of plans. So, I don't know, man. I'll try to keep it going for the next 4 minutes. But if you want to fast forward, I mean, you know exactly how many minutes to fast forward. From right here, I would say it'd be about 4 minutes and 44 seconds. You go ahead and fast forward. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Not a bit, because it's just me talking some S, trying to kill some time. But I will tug on this vape, and I am going to check the score. Holy smokes. So Cavaliers did beat Toronto. 128-10. LeBron James had 43 points. Oy. I don't like the man, but he is a hell of a basketball player. Right. Let's see how my Penguins are doing. And last year, I don't know if you follow hockey, but last year, 3:53 to go in the third. Penguins still up 2-1. Penguins up on the Capitals in Pittsburgh. Last year, Capitals had the best record in the league, and I believe the Penguins beat them in the second round. I don't feel like looking it up, but yeah, I want to say that's how it played out. And it was one of those deals because, or maybe the second best record. The Blue Jackets had the best record, and the Penguins drew them in the first round. Yeah, that would make sense. Maybe, yes, because there was controversy. Because of the way the playoff draw is set up in the NHL, you have ranked teams playing ranked teams in the first round. So it's a flawed playoff bracketing system, they say, because you can have like a number 1 team knock out a number 3 team in the first round, and ideally that's not what you want. You want your number 1 team playing your number 8 team, et cetera, so that no matter who wins, well, obviously if a 8 team beats a 1 team, then, but you get what I'm saying. You don't want your number 1 team playing your number 3 team, because no matter who wins, you've lost a high-ranking team for the rest of the playoffs. You ideally want your playoffs set up so that all your top-seeded teams advance and play each other instead of knocking each other out in the first round. So I believe it was the Penguins and the Blue Jackets first round. Penguins advanced. Blue Jackets had the best record in the league last year. And then Penguins and the Caps in the second round, and the Caps had like the second or third best record in the league, and the Penguins knocked them out. So it was one of those deals. So I know the Caps this year were like looking for some revenge, and I don't know if they're going to get it. But having said that, for the Penguins to win the Stanley Cup again this year would be 3 in a row, and that's dynasty at that point. And there's not that many dynasties. I think realistically the last dynasty you could say was the Oilers, and that was quite some time ago. It's 2018. That was a while ago. There've been a lot of back-to-back teams. There've been a lot of consistent playoff teams. But there's a difference between a team that goes to the playoffs every year and a dynasty. So, I mean, when I think of like the Canadiens in the 1930s and 1940s, that's a dynasty. Or the Steelers in the 1970s, that is a dynasty. Or the Patriots right now, that is a dynasty. Penguins aren't a dynasty. They won back-to-back. They're a great team. A lot of Hall of Famers, a lot of players going to the Hall of Fame. But by no means a dynasty. But if they win this year, if they win the Stanley Cup, then yeah, they are. You could say this team it's a three-peat. It hasn't happened. I want to say 30 years, 35 years. I think Detroit did it in the 80s. So that's exciting, man. We'll see. I mean, it hasn't happened yet. They haven't even. They're down 2 games to 1 in the second round, so it hasn't even happened yet. Sip of the wine, tug of the vape, check the score, and then I think we're going to be about ready to go. 1 minute to go in the third. Pittsburgh up on Washington, 2-1 in Pittsburgh. Oh, come on, baby. Okay, and in the meantime, in Fake Train World, I think we're about to get our signal. No. Okay. Whew. Thought that we were just going to be done. Set the reverser to backwards and head into Old Oak Common. Train maintenance. Let's check the map. Make sure all our signals are signaled. And it looks like that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That one's good. Right. Center on player. So. And then we're going to. Right. Well, I'm glad there was a little bit more and we didn't just hit 10:15 and then it says it's over. That would be disappointing. Terribly. Particularly after I made up stuff to talk about for 8 minutes. That was grueling. Felt like I was being cross-examined or something. Right, and while that's going on, check the score one more time. Oh! 58 seconds to go. Penguins are up 3-1. So most likely an empty netter. And looks like it's a 3-game series. Pretty excited about that. Oh! Back to back to back. You got to be kidding me. That would be next level. That would be so cool if that happened. Now, I'm curious if the next team they have to beat is Boston. We'll see how that goes. I have an X in the Boston area. And I wouldn't say that it's, I wouldn't say that I'm like spiteful about it. But I was really happy when the Patriots lost the Super Bowl. It's one of those things. Like, my favorite team is the Steelers. My next favorite team is any team that beats the Patriots. And it's not all because of her. But it's a little bit because of her. So, if the Penguins have to play Boston, and if the Penguins beat Boston, that's always... It's very childish. It's very petty. But it's very much a fact that I just dig that to no end. Right. So we're in a yard right now. We're in a yard with quite a bit of track. Yeah, we're in a yard with quite a bit of track. And we're at 35 FPS. I feel like this is the highest that we've ever been in a yard. Curious if this has anything to do with that update. I mean, it says for CSX Heavy Haul, which is TSW, and for every DLC, it says performance was improved. So, okay, I'll take it. I'll take a performance improvement. Certainly seems to be there. Looking at the skybox and looking at this little construction project over here to the right side of the screen, I'm not throwing shade on Dovetail, but there's definitely some scenery in these games that is designed to be seen like out of the corner of your eye as you're going past at 60 miles an hour. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it looks great from here. It looks great from my house. but you don't want to look too close at it. But that's fine, because the other thing would be if they made that like super awesome and gnarly, then we'd be like, oh, why is the frame rate at 15 FPS when we're in the yard? So it's always a trade-off, and I guess on balance, if I had a choice between super detailed trackside textures and FPS, I'm always going to take FPS within reason. I mean, I don't make it look like trash, but it doesn't. I mean, the sky could use a little work. Some of those models could use a little work, but on balance, when you look at the whole, like the whole whatever, the whole product, the sum total, you know what I'm saying? Like the chutzpah, I think it looks pretty good. So kudos to them for finding the right balance. Oh, look at that guy over there. He's all by himself. Looks like he's on timeout. You go sit over by the shed and think about what you did. That's how he looks. Oh, sorry, buddy. Well, I guess you'll know for next time. Right. Oh, speeding. Speeding, but not terribly. There we go. No. Don't stop. Just slow down. Right. Give it a little. Give it a little goose. Now, I'm curious if. Now, I have a feeling we're going to need to be down here. Right? You see what I mean? Like, what angle do we have to be at so we can see how close it's getting? Maybe here? Will it let us be here? 66. Oh. I don't know, man. Color me geek, but I think this is gorgeous. Gorgeous, I tell you. I love it. Right. Let me check the score one more time. Penguins win 3-1. Woots! Super happy about that. Okay. Throttle at 0. And we're going to get ready to do some super braking. Is this boring? Are you bored by this? Are you fascinated by it? Do you find it compelling? Is it interesting? Are you into it? I don't know, man. I'm all those things. I'm into it. I just don't know if anybody's watching. Whoa. Why is it? Oh, because that's where... No. Don't stop. Don't stop. That's where it wants the other one to be. Oh, see? I was looking at the front. We should be focused on the back. Right. No. Because I'm... Hang on. Because as I'm looking at this, yeah. No, we couldn't go all the way in because there's a bumper right there. Objective complete. Put the reverser to neutral. Set the master key to off. Turn the headlights to off.
Thanks for all your help with this unusual move today.
Oh, you got it. Anytime. That's it. Fantastic. Folks, thank you so much for stopping to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Train Sim World Great Western Express DLC. We'll see you next time. Take care now.